Hey everyone, and welcome to Boston Autoblog. Is it a compact crossover or a mid-size crossover? That seems to be the question everyone is asking when it comes to the all-new 2021 Kia Sorento. Now, traditionally, it is known as a mid-size crossover. However, what we've seen in the automotive industry over the last 5 to 10 years is that crossovers are getting bigger with each passing year. And in fact, there are some compact crossovers that are falling right in line with the dimensions of the Sorento. Now, to my right, we have the SX trim, and to my left, we have the SX Prestige X line. Now, I wanted to film just the SX trim, but the guys here at Quirk Kia insisted that I film the X line because it's more rugged and also has better features. Some of those features include a 12-inch digital gauge cluster, which is standard for the SX Prestige, so if you don't want to go with the X line, you don't have to. And of course, you will have quilted leather seats that are really comfortable. But that's just two features on the SX Prestige that we're going to get into in this review. But if you know me really well, I love gloss black accents rather than plastic cladding. So that's why we have the SX trim today to compare and contrast to the X line to see which one might be a better option for you. So in this video, we're going to take a good long look at the 2021 Kia Sorento and see why, if you're in the market for a compact crossover, but you might want something a little bigger that offers an optional third row like a Volkswagen Tiguan, but you don't want to spend the price for, say, a Toyota Highlander, then maybe going with the Kia Sorento might be a great decision. Now, before we get in this review, I'd like to thank Quirk Kia in Braintree, Massachusetts for allowing me to do this review. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Kia inventory. And so, without wasting any further time, let's get right in this review. The definition for a compact crossover seems to be evolving over time, as vehicles such as the Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, and Volkswagen Tiguan have all grown in size. For some brands, they're starting to squeeze in a third row, not only to insinuate better practicality while also appearing to be more affordable than traditional 3-row SUVs, but also to take advantage of the overall size and dimensions for these crossovers. The 2021 Kia Sorento interestingly falls into the mid-size crossover segment, despite being smaller than the Honda Pilot and Toyota Highlander, while also being the only vehicle among rivals such as the Ford Edge, Chevy Blazer, and Honda Passport to offer a third-row standard. Some have labeled the Sorento as a tweener, as it's priced competitively with smaller SUVs, but it's far too large to be fairly compared with the Ford Escapes and Chevy Equinoxes of the world. Starting off with pricing, if you're looking to save a bit while still receiving a list of features, the SX trim comes in at $37,990, but with all-wheel drive, you'll be walking out the door at $40,000. However, with the SX Prestige X line, you'll be looking at a price tag of $42,950. Besides the plastic cladding and better interior technology and comfort features, there's one distinct difference between the SX and X line, and that's the ground clearance of 8.2 inches, which is almost an inch and a half higher than the standard Sorento. Quite possibly the go-to option for buyers looking for some off-road adventures or prefer plastic cladding to minimize the possibility of scratches on the paint, the X line will likely be popular among consumers who have more of an active lifestyle. Getting back to dimensions, the 2021 Sorento has a length of 189 inches and a width of 75 inches, which is closer in size to a 2021 Volkswagen Tiguan than a Toyota Highlander. That's one of the reasons why it's a bit difficult to pinpoint exactly what market this crossover fits in. Taking a look at the exterior, for 2021, Kia made some significant improvements to the Sorento, not only modernizing the front fascia with their signature tiger nose front grille, but also going with a classier road presence that's become a staple of the Kia Hyundai family with their new vehicles. Both the SX and SX Prestige trims will receive full LED headlights with signature LED daytime running lights, which really gives this crossover a futuristic appearance. With the X-Line, there is a slight variation to the lower portion of the front bumper, as we now see the addition of plastic cladding. But Kia didn't go overboard with the rugged look to a point where you could say it's a bit obscene. Moving over to the side profile, the Sorento SX Prestige X-Line will be sitting on 20-inch matte finish alloy wheels to match the matte accents found up front and for the badging. By going with this package, you will also have roof rails, with crossbars being a $360 option. For the SX trim we have in this review, you'll have 20-inch gloss black wheels for a low-profile look, but they also go great with the rest of the vehicle, especially with the passion red paint color. For both models, you will have folding side mirrors with turn signal indicators, and for added safety, you will have blind spot detection. Then coming around to the back, the changes made to the rear fascia are more evolutionary rather than revolutionary, as the LED taillight design and just how the rear third of this crossover is shaped kind of resembles the second generation Sorento. With Kia going back to more of a boxier road presence rather than the somewhat minivan-like roofline the last generation Sorento had, this vehicle looks more rugged and better suited to compete in the current crossover market than the previous generation. But this leads us back to the SX model we have in this review, as cosmetic differences compared to the X-Line really show how far the Kia Sorento has come throughout the years. Now, since Quirk Kia only has one SX Prestige trim and it's an X-Line, which will give you plastic cladding, I want to go over the SX trim with the gloss black accents. Now, I'm not trying to compare this to a luxury crossover, but the gloss black accents really remind me of what we see on the Acura RDX. And I don't know what Kia's plans are in the future, in the near future at least, but it definitely gives me this feeling that Kia is focusing on an entry-level luxury experience and feel, and you see that with the exterior for the Kia Sorento. Now, of course, you will have gloss black accents for the front grille. We're seeing a lot more of this with the Kia lineup, but I want to focus on the lower portion of the front bumper because where the fog lights are, there's gloss black surrounding that. And I feel as though the Kia did their best to design this vehicle where there won't be any plastic cladding other than for the X-Line. And I really appreciate that because in the modern era of automotive design, they're putting plastic cladding on vehicles that will never be taken off-road. Now, of course, with the X-Line, with that extra ground clearance, you will be taking that off-road most likely on adventures, whether you're going camping during the summer or skiing and snowboarding during the winter. But when it comes to the front fascia for the 2021 Sorento, I absolutely love the gloss black accents. It just makes this vehicle look very sleek, sporty, but also a little more upscale. And then moving over to the side profile, those gloss black accents continue around the wheel arches, and I love that touch. It once again gives you that more luxurious aspect, and it goes really well with the gloss black wheels. And then coming around to the back, those gloss black accents continue on the lower portion of the rear fascia. So overall, the Kia Sorento has a very unique look to it. And usually in this segment, you're going to have plastic cladding at least somewhere. Now, I understand it's a moot point with the X-Line, but if you don't want to go with the X-Line, you have a vehicle that looks unique, it stands out, but also when you look at its price point, around $40,000, it definitely looks more upscale than the price tag. So I just think that when it comes from a design aspect, I think Kia is absolutely killing it right now with their vehicles, and it's definitely impressive when it comes to its overall design. Under the hood, the Kia Sorento SX and X-Line is powered by a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that puts out 281 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque, and is paired with an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Not mentioned earlier is that if you want to go with the X-Line package, all-wheel drive will be included as well. So if you want the tech features we're about to check out with the SX Prestige, and you don't want plastic cladding, you will have to go with front-wheel drive. However, the SX trim does offer all-wheel drive as an option, and you won't have to sacrifice the gloss black accents, so that's something to definitely keep in mind. For fuel economy, you can expect to receive right around 21 miles per gallon in the city, and 28 miles per gallon on the highway. Briefly taking a look at the interior for the SX trim, since our main focus will be on the X-Line, You will have power adjustable and heated leatherette seats for both the driver and passenger, which I found to be very comfortable. The biggest difference with the dashboard layout between the two models we have today is that the SX is not equipped with a full 12-inch digital gauge cluster, which to some degree takes away from the modernized cabin you find yourself in. You'll still have a 10-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility to go along with onboard navigation, but there will be a lack of safety equipment like additional camera angles. To brighten up the mood, a panoramic moonroof will come standard to make the interior seem much larger than in reality. Switching gears to the X-Line, you'll find yourself sitting on perforated heated and ventilated leather seats, with a quilted leather stitch design. This small but noticeable difference sets the tone for the rest of the interior, as in front of you, the 12-inch digital gauge cluster brings a futuristic and high-quality look to the Sorento, and currently is not even offered on the Telluride. Resolution and graphics are actually quite impressive, and response time was a bit quicker than I had anticipated. Moving over to that 10-inch touchscreen, all SX Prestige models will be equipped with the upgraded Bose sound system, and along with that comes ambient background noises that were having a calming effect on me while filming. On a 25-degree day with a wind chill, the fireplace sound effect made the Sorento's interior a bit more welcoming. You'll have quick access buttons on either side of the screen to quickly and easily get you to different menus. And just like with the digital gauge cluster, responsiveness and quality were pretty good for a non-luxury brand. The key difference with the SX Prestige is the top view camera with front, rear, and side views to help parking this crossover. While I personally believe the Sorento leans towards the compact crossover side rather than midsize, it does feel big when parking in tight spots, so to have those additional camera angles and parking sensors provided some peace of mind. Below, you'll find the buttons for the dual zone climate control and front and rear defrosters. As we make our way towards the center console, you'll have a wireless phone charging pad and 3 USB inputs, all within arm's reach. It's also here where the toggles for the 3-level heated and ventilated seats can be found. And for the center console itself, you'll have a rotary dial for the drive mode selector, and additional buttons for your heated steering wheel, auto start stop, hill descent control, park assist, and camera systems. For the center storage compartment, you'll find plenty of room for small items, and a tray for loose change. And rounding out the front seating area, the standard panoramic moonroof will let in a lot of natural light to the interior. Now for passengers in the second row, they're going to experience plenty of legroom. Now from the outside, the Kia Sorento does appear to be very small and compact, and that might have something to do with the fact that the front and rear overhangs are very short. So you get this sense that it actually looks like a compact crossover, when in reality, it's a lot bigger. Now, unfortunately, I didn't film this, but one of the guys here at Quirk Kia wanted to showcase and demonstrate just how much legroom that you're going to have back here for the second row. And he's around 6 feet tall, and he sat back here very comfortably and didn't have a lack of headroom even with the panoramic sunroof. So even for a 6 foot tall passenger, they're going to be comfortable back here for sure. But also more important for a family is that these seats are adjustable. You can slide them forwards and backwards, which is going to give the passengers in the third row more legroom to work with here. So overall, the interior is very spacious. Now, there are some journalists that are a little disappointed in the fact that Kia does not offer heated second row seats for the Sorento, but it does make sense to a certain degree because there is some price overlapping with the Telluride, and I think that Kia wants to make sure that there's some extra features that are exclusive for the Telluride, but also incentives to upgrade to that vehicle. But from a consumer's perspective, and these are buyers who are looking at, say, a RAV4, CR-V, or Volkswagen Tiguan, the Sorento actually falls right in line with those vehicles in terms of pricing and is more practical. You have the ability to get those third row seats standard, but also when it comes to cargo space, it's more practical as well. But also from the other side of the spectrum, you have buyers that are looking for a 3-row SUV, like, say, a Toyota Highlander, but they don't want to spend a lot of money on that. I mean, you're looking at a $4,000 to $5,000 price difference, but also for those journalists who are concerned about those heated second row seats, with the Highlander, you're paying a premium for that feature. You're spending right around $47,000. So when it comes to the Kia Sorento, I think it's perfect the way it is, and I understand why Kia did not want to give us heated second row seats and also memory seats for the front seats, just because I think they really want to save those features for the Telluride. Now for extra features back here, you do get 2 rear air vents to go along with a 12-volt outlet and USB input. And rather than a center armrest with 2 cup holders, those cup holders will be found on the door rests. Now for the third row seats, you actually have a decent amount of legroom to work with here, considering the fact this is not a full-size crossover by any means. Now I did adjust this seat a little bit further up. I think if you have kids back here, they can most certainly sacrifice a few inches of legroom so that the person in the third row can be a little more comfortable. However, you sit very low to the ground, so even for someone at my height, I feel like I'm kind of sitting in a ball here. But if you have kids around 4 feet tall, I'm pretty sure they're going to be just fine. Now coming around to the back, you're going to receive a power liftgate, and the button that activates this power liftgate will be found underneath the E. Now, inside you're going to find right around 12.5 cubic feet behind the third row. Now, we already have the third row seats folded for this review, and behind the second row seat, you're going to get right around 45 cubic feet of room, which is very impressive for a vehicle of this size. Now, again, we're going to go back to the compact crossover equation. Say you're looking at buying a Honda CR-V or a Toyota RAV4, and you might want to spend a little extra on something a little bigger. Then I think the Kia Sorento is the better option. You have about 10 cubic feet more than those two vehicles. Now, also I like too, and you might like as well, is the fact that you do have those third row seats that fold flat. So if you want to have maybe an extra 1 or 2 people when you're going on a road trip with the family, you have that ability to fit them in this one vehicle. And I think that's why the Kia Sorento does fall in that category. It's kind of straddling a fine line of being a compact crossover while also having mid-size crossover tendencies. So I really like what Kia is offering here. This is a great vehicle at its price point. Then with the second row seats folded, that space grows in size to 75.5 cubic feet. So overall, the Kia Sorento is very practical in many ways, and it really just comes down to the fact that you have the ability to fit 2 additional people in that third row. But I think that if you are looking for a family vehicle that's not a minivan, then the Kia Sorento is definitely a great vehicle to go with. And then once you're done, just press the button and the liftgate will close automatically. So at the end of the day, whether you go with an SX, SX Prestige, or an SX Prestige X-Line, I think you're getting a really great vehicle for the price. Now, obviously, if you know me well, I'm going to go with the gloss black accents, and I just prefer that sleeker, sportier look. But I understand the X-Line and why people would be drawn into this vehicle, because you have better practicality and versatility with the ground clearance. But when it comes to the Prestige trim, though, I think upgrading to the SX Prestige is the better decision overall, because you got the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster and the Bose surround sound system that also allows you to listen to sound effects such as a fireplace or a cafe. Really helps set the mood of this vehicle. But I just think that overall, when it comes to the interior layout and just the technology that you receive, and of course the features, you get this feeling as though you're sitting in a luxury crossover. And at $43,000, that's really impressive, because for most brands such as BMW, Audi, and Mercedes-Benz, you're just starting to get into the compact crossover market with those brands. So I think that Kia has given us a great sweet spot here with the Kia Sorento SX and SX Prestige, and it's one of the reasons why I would definitely recommend taking this vehicle out for a test drive, but also put it on your list of considerations, whether you are looking at buying a 3-row SUV or even a compact crossover like a Toyota RAV4 or a Honda CR-V, because I think going with an SX over, say, a top trim for a RAV4 or Honda CR-V, I think is the better decision overall, just because you get those third row seats. But also I think the interior is more upscale as well, more refined. And what we're seeing from Kia and Hyundai over the last few years or so is that they're really focusing on giving you a premium experience without paying the premium price. And I have to say, I am truly impressed overall with this vehicle, and I definitely think that Kia has a winner on their hands for sure, and I wouldn't sleep on this vehicle. I know a lot of people love the Kia Telluride, but if you don't need a vehicle of that size, then the Kia Sorento is definitely a great option to go with. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram at Boston Autoblog so you can see what I'm up to and what vehicles I'll be featuring in the future. And I will see you guys next time.